What's up, y'all? This Shiloh. This is Rare and Uncut, where if you ain't speaking facts, gotta shut the fuck up. Today, I brought my brother back on here, commas.
What's going on, world? What's going on?
Yeah, I know y'all gonna be like, wait, but did she already? Yeah, but that was more like the team thing. So I had to bring back everybody individually because I feel like we all be having our own personal life outside of Rare and other things to talk about that's not included in Rare. So, you know, appreciate you coming back on here and spending some more time with me while we dig into your life.
Yeah, you about to dig in, huh? Dig in.
Yeah.
Let's get it going.
First things first, I do want to make it a thing with this podcast is checking in on everybody's mental, where you at right now and how you've been feeling overall. You in a good space to talk?
Yeah, for sure. I think talking help out. So I think anytime you get to talk and get to tell people what's going on and just vibe with it, and especially in your circle, I think that's part of mental health right there.
Yeah, having somebody you could talk to, like your friend, your family member. Even when you think a motherfucker don't want to talk to you, you probably should reach out. But I'm always going to start asking that now, starting with podcasts, because I just feel like I should know, you know? Like, even if we got to cut it real quick and get into it, then we can. But just want everybody to be in a good space when they hear on Rare and Uncut. Speaking of being in a good space, what is it like for you to put yourself in a good space even when you're not? Like, what are your first resorts? What do you go to?
I think me personally, I give myself time every day, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just to myself early in the morning. I'm an early person, so I get up early in the morning, give myself 10 to 15 minutes just to reset every morning, just to clear my mind. So I think that's key. Whether you talk to yourself, you think, however you do it, or whatever, to each his own. But yeah, for me, I give myself like 15 minutes in the morning just to reset every morning.
Do you do anything to like relax your subconscious, or what is it that you do in this 10-15 minutes? Is it a meditation thing, a prayer thing?
I think just being grateful, one, I think starting with that, and then I think just, I grew up kind of like, you just, growing up in New York City where I grew up at, is like, it moves so fast, so you just gotta keep moving. So how, the only thing it is to do, I guess, basically is to keep moving. So for me, I just wake up, get my thoughts together, whatever, and just keep moving, just be grateful.
Yeah.
One day at a time, basically.
Yeah. Being grateful is definitely something I don't think a lot of us think we should do, even in the midst of when it looks bad or when things seem complicated. I had seen this TikTok, this girl was saying, like, imagine if we were only blessed with the things we are thankful for. Like, imagine if that was all we received. And it made me start thinking about our abilities, our free will, the fact that we're able to even utilize our hands and feet. It's small, but I mean, it makes a heavy impact if you didn't have it, right? It would make life a lot harder. So being grateful for the small things definitely help for more blessings to feel like they can be received. Speaking of that, if you had like, do you think it kind of came with age when you started being more grateful, or more like you got to start taking some time out for yourself, or is it something you were taught when you were younger?
I think it came with time for sure. I think when you're younger and you just moving around, you ain't really that be so far removed. Especially like I think for like in our culture, like most of the time when you have those moments is when you go sit down, when you're going to do some time. That's the only time we really sit and be one with ourselves and get to. Other than that, it's continuous, keep moving, keep it pushing. So now with age, I think definitely just taking the time to be grateful and analyze things differently play a part.
Is that a New York thing? The whole, like how you said when you live there, it was just like everything's like on go. Is that the lifestyle New York has? Is everything's like pretty much go fast, hurry up, speed?
For sure, I think it's so. I think anywhere where it's congested, but New York is a bunch of people, there's a bunch of things going on one block. So, and one neighborhood block, is so much going on. So, you really just gotta figure it out. Like it don't really slow up for no one. It's not personal to no one. Just don't slow up for no one. So you forced to have the adversity to keep moving through whatever's going on.
Compared to like, say for instance, when it comes to any hustling, compared to New York and here, would you say this is more slowed down, more settled, or did you like, you know what I'm saying, like, what would you compare there for at least the hustle aspect?
I think there is like it's bright like it's a big city. Like a lot of people travel there. There's a lot of tourists. There's a melting pot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the bright lights big city. But I've also been here to where I've been able to experience where you got young business owners here and stuff like that. So me growing up in New York, those are things that was far removed from my mind. So for me to come in these environments and say, all right, I can own a house and a store right here, or I can own a studio. So I think it's pretty much has its pros and cons, but New York is just fast paced. Mm-hmm. It's just super fast paced, but here it has its own culture as well.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a little bit easier ability here, but the inspiration is definitely necessary from New York. Like seeing how much is there alone, and the bright, like you said, the big buildings. It's this Alicia Keys songs that actually come to my mind where she was like, these streets make you feel brand new, like the lights that inspire you. Like it's really a concrete jungle. And with that being said, like I feel like if you can make something in New York, you can make something anywhere. That's how I feel.
And that's how, like, I think I look at it like I grew up there, so like the city, everyone got some motion, everyone's doing something, everyone, you know, is a fashion capital as well, so everyone's dressing, everyone got something going on. So it can be saturated at times, but I feel like you could take a New Yorker, if you grew up in New York, you could take a New Yorker and you could take a person somewhere, like LeBron James went to Miami and got his first ring and came back. Mm-hmm. You can take a New Yorker and put him somewhere else, and I feel like they're gonna elevate.
Yeah, it's just really in y'all already. Speaking of New York, what's like some staples? Like if somebody, like for me, if I had never been to New York and I'm asking you about New York, or people like, man, what's New York like? Like what are some staples and what are some things that you would really have to say about like New York overall?
Nah, those questions be kind of tricky because, you know, some people go there for tourism and some people look at New York City like I'm going to 42nd Street.
We talking about the heart.
Yeah, like I think summertime, catch you a cookout somewhere in Harlem, somewhere in the Bronx, catch you a basketball game at Rucker Park, the Dykeman, go get you some soul food, little things like that.
Where the soul food though? Y'all can't just be like, go get some food.
I see CeeLo's is a good soul food spot in the Bronx. I grew up off a taste of seafood in Harlem. When you City Island on the seafood, you're looking for a vibe, looking for some drinks. You're trying to go uptown, go to City Island. Those are staples that I would consider the culture. Like,
we putting y'all down. It ain't just chopped cheese. It's other shit going on.
The chopped cheese is regular. That's at every corner store. That's
what they said too. When I went up there, I was just so geeked up. They like, girl, that's a hamburger. What else you looking for? I swear that nobody was like, all the New Yorkers was just like, you're intrigued by what? And I'm just like, well, we don't have that. Like, you don't even understand. Around Akron, we don't really have even people doing foot walking like they do up in New York. So I was just happy to just be walking around the blocks with people. And
go get you some real Spanish food.
What is real Spanish food?
I would consider rice and beans, half a chicken. That's always a good go. Some good garlic sauce, beans on the side. That's always a good go. I know, like, in today's world, like, even here, I know we eat a lot, like, when we look at Spanish food, we go to Mexican, like, we think of tacos up in New York.
What's empanadas considered? Is that Spanish?
It's called pastelillos. That's considered Spanish, right?
Because obviously that's where I hit to them up there, but it was out the little corner stores and the grocery spots. You just a little grab and go, but them bitches is so good.
Yep.
I heard too, but in New York though, you cannot be picky. Like if you bougie about where you eating, you scared to go in the hood, you scared to go to a little hole in the wall spot, you gonna really miss out. You scared to eat off a food truck, you gonna miss out. Cause I ain't gonna lie, I had some good food when I went up there too, but everything was kind of like, I maybe ate like, well actually the first time I went to New York, I had Chop House in Brooklyn, I believe.
All right, yeah.
And I cannot remember the rest of the restaurants that we went to. It was through a Goldman Sachs program. And it was everything around black businesses and involving black entrepreneurs. So everything we ate was like black owned. But it was cool. But I enjoyed it the second time when I went and I was just lurking around. Like I'm just walking block to block. Oh, what's this going in here? Mm-hmm. Oh, this little hair store. Let me see what they like. I'm just walking around. That's when I had the best food. Was
when you moving around.
Yeah, just little bullshit spots. Everything came in a wrapper and plastic and a little white box. Like nothing was Do you got like some speaking of New York too, do you got like you know, New York is really big on the music scene. Like when it comes to like studio time can be pretty lengthy, and you do got kids. Do your kids ever come to the studio, or did you ever have to like, you know what I'm saying?
I think outside of like spending money into music and stuff, I think I don't regret it because some of the experiences I had with it was I got to go to South by Southwest with my son, take my son to different states. Just not even my son, not even just my family, like my friends, my artists. We had fun. We went different places. We traveled. We did shows, music. So it was actually a good experience. So I don't regret it on those aspects. It definitely had an effect on my family, even my mother, God bless her soul. It's been times she's been at video shoots and things like that, and it was just a different experience for my family.
Mm-hmm. With is it hard? Would you say it's hard, or if it is hard, or if it isn't hard, what is maybe some advice that you would give your younger self when it comes to trying to pursue different, you know, things like your goals and stuff, and balancing out being a father?
I've been able to experience, I think, like being young, being a father, running around in the streets, what we call it as active in the city. I think you could be a dad, like you could provide all day long. Like that's something that I always did good at since I was young, providing all day long. So when it came to being a father and putting in quality time, it was something that was big for me as being a father. That's what I wanted to do. And I've learned even when I thought I was putting in quality time, now that my life is slowed up, I'm selling clothes, I'm doing legit things, I'm on positive time, I get to experience more of what being a dad is. It ain't just the providing part.
Yeah. So you're like going. What is your kids into like these days? Like what do you go do with them to create that quality time?
I think like over the past, my kids always have my kids in activities, but like I said, providing for activities that's just a providing aspect, but showing up and being at practices and games, I did those things from the beginning, but I lacked in those areas because my lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So now I find myself coaching my daughter's basketball team. I find myself at my daughter horseback riding lessons. I find myself at my daughter's swimming lessons, actually there with the present, not on my phone all day long and things like that. And I think that's the different dynamics and it feels good. That's what I'm enjoying about father.
So it sounds like basically the biggest or the main sacrifice is really the time, like the quality time.
I think of course you like even some doctors work more than 40 hours a week, so and they're good parents. So I don't think it's just only time. I think just prioritizing when you do have the time and making it a priority. I think you can't go wrong.
Yeah. I don't have any kids myself, but I do realize like with my niece, like how kids really do be like, you think they may be big on electronics and stuff like that because that's what they really know, but if you spend time doing other things with your kids, they really just be wanting you involved. Like every time I go over to my niece's house, she instantly want to get Barbie time. Pick up dog. I want to play Barbies, or can you look at this? Watch me do this. Like just sing with me or do like they really be wanting you to like do stuff with them. Even shit. I got dogs and they don't even really like when I'm all on my phone. You know what I'm saying? They'll get the bug in because they want attention. Yeah, so attention is definitely important.
I think being present and attention is key.
For sure. Do you ever talk to your daughters or your son about like why you're busy, and do you try to like instill certain like advice to them?
I think my son, he was able to see it because he's the oldest. He was able to see me younger, so his perception I think will always be a little different. His sisters is seeing it on those aspects, but I think being present is something that I always been. So I think now it's just more polished and seasoned and more intentional. Because I honestly enjoy hanging out with my kids and kicking it with my kids and doing things, just building with them. That's one of my highs in life. Right. So for me, it's like now it's more like being, like I said, just being present, being more intentional with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what gets you to in the space to where I think it's healthy as a kid.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, do your daughters, do y'all have that conversation where you be like, listen, like, Daddy, you know, Daddy love y'all, but I'm doing this and I'm going to teach you about this when you get older, like, even financial literacy or anything?
I think financial literacy, like my oldest daughter, she just happened to get business class. I ain't never known them to have business class in junior high school or middle school. You know, so they got business class there. So now she's creating masks and she got what's the Etsy account, whatever, one of those accounts, and she's trying to sell masks and do things like this. So business-wise, I come from a business-oriented family, so it's just really transitioning over into the right thing. So my kids is on this journey with me as well. Like, so we have the conversations about business, about time, and just even for when they grow up, for them to have it, to know, like, I want them to be active in whatever they decide to do in life, to where I always tell them hard work outbeat talent. I just believe that. So I have those conversations with my daughter for sure.
Yeah, that's a good piece of advice too. Because even for myself, I feel like I sleep on a lot of things I know how I'm good at to do. Like, I'm good at doing, I should say. So I could imagine that there's probably people who's really sleeping on their ability, their resources, and the talents that they have. When you kind of figure out like what it is you want to do, and say you're starting to do it, but do you ever lose like interest in doing it? Like, do you ever go through a period where you kind of like not doing what you could be doing?
Yeah, I think I'm like, people gotta get, like, know they self. So I think I do a lot of work with myself just over the years, just like sitting with self, like I said. So on those aspects, I know I got an addictive personality. So when I'm doing something, I'm addicted to it. So business is something. I opened the business. I'm already looking at another business. That's something that I'm learning how to filter with and stay focused on one thing. And I think those are things that just come with learning experiences. Where when you over optimistic about things, you can just jump in here and jump in there, and something like you may let this die because you went and shift your energy here. So taking your time, I think, is key as well.
Do you be knowing like what you want to do, or do you get like an influence, or do you pray about it? Like, how do you kind of know like this is your thing?
I think
or you tried it till it worked?
I'm a person that I look at numbers, and not numbers like just I can add a count. Like, pretty much how I grew up. I grew up on corners where you would have 20 young men on the corner, and everybody got a package, and everybody trying to get it off to go get another one. So the competitive spirit and learning, and this may be $10, but I can sell it for $8, and everybody's gonna go sell it for $10, and I'm gonna sell more $8 t-shirts than they're gonna sell $10, and they're gonna hold on to theirs longer. And I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna just put in double the hours, and that's always been my mindset. So with those type of things is where I feel like I go into things off numbers. Like, if it makes sense number-wise to me, it's like, I have to figure something.
So I know you said you was big on fashion. Are you like keep up with the trends, or you more so do your own thing?
I wouldn't say keep up with trends. I grew up with, like I said, New York is a fashion capital, so I grew up in the late 90s, early 2000s, and that's pretty much where my aura still is. So from classic sneakers to certain things, I think things just repeated and come back out. So in today's time and vibe, this is the closest I've seen it back to when I grew up.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anybody who, like, for instance, when I think of like fashion, I might think of, I ain't gonna lie, on the male aspect, and this, because I don't really do a lot of paying attention to like people in general, and it doesn't have to be a particular artist or just anybody, but I like the way Jim Jones be dressing. Like, on the male aspect, do you be having like people like that? You be like, oh no, this is the fashion mogul. This is the.
I was influenced by a lot of like probably most people in our neighborhoods, and influenced by a lot of like drug dealers and kingpins in my neighborhood, in my area. But I think when you talk about as far as New York City as a culture, as a whole, I think Jim Jones is definitely I think even in today's era, giving us flowers, even in today's era, when you look at how everyone dresses with skulls and all that, even flannels and certain things, that was Dipset era. That was Joel Santana and Jim Jones who brought that culture to us. And I don't know if they created it, but when I think of, Jim Jones is one, Fabulous is another one. Like, those were, I would say, my top two as far as in the industry artist-wise, like Fabulous and Jim Jones.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could definitely see like the creativity too, especially with the rare clothing brand that you have. Is like some of that kind of influenced on what you see in New York.
Yeah, for sure. I think when we just putting our ideas together and putting the clothes together, even before we had the clothes, that was how we came about. We were selling clothes, but my partner was selling clothes, but it wasn't his brand, it wasn't the brand. And I was like, yo, we can do something like, we spend enough money on clothes, dressing, like, you know, let's, and our creativity is what you're seeing from the clothes on the wall, from what we wearing, and it's just the creativity.
You sold clothes before?
Not clothes. I had an aspect of wanting to do clothes. So my first store was a candy store. I opened up a candy store, bought a candy store in Akron, right? I get a candy store, not really knowing how to form an LLC. I take my shot, I go to LegalZoom. They hitting my debit card every month. They doing a regular, like, you know, just young entrepreneur, just trying to figure it out. So I was like, I'm gonna sell clothes. That's why I'm gonna get some clothes. That quickly transitioned to music, and that was where I got my first heat press, my first vinyl cutter, because me, just amongst us in-house, like a lot of things we do now is in-house, we needed to create clothes, merch when we were doing shows and things like that. And that was what I really started seeing, like, well, how could I have something with designing clothes? That was how.
So you do offer those services, like, for other people to come bring their stuff in, or everything just in-house for rare?
No, for sure. I think that's outside of rare. I think just collabing with other brands and getting things off the ground and just building, especially in our community. I think there's a couple of brands from Akron that got dope clothing brands. Like a couple of the artists I know that have clothes here, I think their clothes is dope. So I think if we could create a service to each other, amongst each other, like let's get some money. I think the reality is in our culture we keep to where we separate and segregate, and the other cultures don't do it like that. And that's how they running bags up. Like, let's get involved. That's what I'm doing.
Akron definitely got some dope clothes. Shout out to Bari. Rest in peace, brother, man.
For sure.
Akron definitely got some nice clothing brands. And I say brands because it's not just merch. It's not just the hustle. Like, I really see a lot of people putting in good work, creativity, and their quality in their brands, just like you are. How important do you think it is to build relationships with other people when it comes to the business game, and why? Like,
I think it's big because being a person that's from New York and not being from Akron, I came here. I've been here over a decade, and my first successful business here was a recording studio. I was doing music. I had a music label. I wasn't able to travel to New York every weekend and go to the studio, Platinum Sounds, and do those type of things. So I had to create things in-house. So I started recording here. I actually found out that Akron had some dope engineers. So from there, we wound up doing some business, and I wound up buying my first studio. And that was what led me to even knowing the culture in Akron, from different artists through the time of coming through and making relationships. And it's been peace.
With the, I definitely want to spin back on this music shit because that's a whole nother world itself too. Have you built any relationships on the clothes side besides your partner? Like, you know, people that you met in between, or manufacturers? Like, do you have relationships with those people?
No, but I have been. So Bari, I have one of my artists that I did music with, and from New York to here, has done photo shoots with Bari before he passed, and was wearing his clothes big, had a real good relationship with him, photo shoots. So I've been able to see that start from the ground and grow. Eli, Bandman, I've been around him through music and had a relationship with him, and seeing what he's doing with Eli, brand the brand. So I think definitely if we could find ways to just create more pop-up shops where it's Akron based, and I don't know much, like if it's female brands, just collabing more in the city, I feel like it'll blow it up bigger than what it is. And I always viewed it like that.
I know it's probably a lot more clothing brands and designers out there, especially that is in my mind. I can name a few, but for the most part, like the names you named and like a couple of names I'm thinking, you know, it's all about too branding and marketing yourself. Like you can't just go press up a shirt and fold it up and put it in your closet and expect people to just come fuck with you. Sometimes you gotta put that shit in their faces and get creative, more creative than, you know what I'm saying, that you're sitting there doing all in one day. Sometimes you gotta think about this. So for when it comes to like your designs and stuff like that, do you have to think a while about it? Like how hard is it to produce? Because when y'all go get clothes, I ain't gonna lie, y'all be coming with a whole bunch of different stuff, like different shit at one time. Is that hard to produce so many things at one time, or it's been thought about?
I think we think about it. I've seen us do things on the fly. I've seen us give time to things where we have to think about it. But I think, like for me, what I bring to the table amongst my team is the era of clothes right now that's going on. Like I said, is the closest thing I remember to me growing up. So those little things like that, having a little edge on those things, and just having the resources to where we can get different cuts and different materials and different things and just have fun. Like just try some different things and be creative, and it looked like it's sticking so far.
What separates the brand from your competitors?
I think the quality. I think not only the prices, I think also the experience of when you're coming to buy something or pick something on from us. I feel, I don't want to sound biased, but I feel like it's more of an experience, like it's more family oriented, it's a good feeling aspect. So, and that's something that it didn't just happen. I've seen it start, it's growing, it's still growing. It is not, I don't think it's high or it's like, no, I think it's the beginning stages, but you can see the potential in it.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely do, for sure. Like I said, it's just all really marketing, because sometimes it's just people ain't seen you yet. It ain't that like people ain't fucking with you, you know, and that's for anybody out there watching this. It might not be what you really think it is. Sometimes it's just you in your own way. Sometimes you really just gotta put in the marketing, or, you know, pay somebody to do the marketing for you if that really ain't your thing. But when people see this shit though, it always do be good reviews and good comments though. Like, oh yeah, this shit hard, like, you know. And that ain't no dick riding and over whooping. It's the truth. This shit hard.
Do you think marketing? Do you think paying for marketing and things like that is a bonus or is a disservice?
I think where you go pay for that. Like for instance, if you have a clothing brand, I wouldn't, in my mind, because I know a lot of people would though, I wouldn't in my mind try to go find your influencer with the most following, but they do something completely totally different. Like if all they do is porn and OnlyFans, you don't have really a lot of clothing marketing in there, because that's not that's not their clientele, that's not their customer service, that's not why we watch this person. Or for instance, you think because you put it on a famous person that is going to get you hella views, but in reality they just earned another piece of clothing for free because they didn't even properly promote you. Or if you're going to go pay for a billboard, don't get a billboard that's super cheap because it's in the cut. Nobody's going to ever see that. Get it where you got high volume traffic coming in. So wherever you're investing, make sure it's going in the right market. Like if I'm going to pay an influencer, I would suggest going with the influencer that has that type of customer service base, like that market. So yeah, marketing does pay off though, for sure. And paying for it it's an investment. So
for sure.
But you could easily flop that investment though if you're gonna put your money in the wrong places because you think it's gonna blow up. As long as you got a strategy though, it should work out. Cause like I said, I mean you can't put the hoodie on the OnlyFans baddie.
I think it's just trial and error though. Honestly,
yeah.
I think it's just trial and error, like being through experiences with music and just trying different ventures. I think it's just trial and error. Certain things sound good, some things sound too good to be true at times, and depending on how much you want your brand to grow, like just a normal human, if it makes sense, we'll be like, all right, we go forward that. And sometimes things don't play out, but I think those are the things that condition you to learn to go forward. Without going through those things, you can go to the top fast and sink right back down.
Yeah.
Because you ain't been through no experiences. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, you're right about that though. The music shit, you know, I think that's I think that's a pretty good marketing if it's at least in a video, something like that, or having people rap about it, because sometimes too we don't realize like a small influence can do a big thing though. Like a rapper keeps mentioning that they're going to you know, a certain restaurant or wearing certain things. Speaking of Richard Millie and things like that, you start looking into that shit like what could he be fucking talking about, you know?
Nah, for sure.
But what made you like? What defined the moment that made you want to get into the music industry when it came to the studio?
Being young, doing illegal things at the time, getting a few dollars, and a childhood friend coming home from jail, and like I remember we used to go buy mixtapes and instrumentals and just listen to the beats. And being from New York, summertime, we got a camera outside, they freestyling, so that was just something we grew up on. So my man came home like, let's do some music. I wanted to do something legit, so I'm like, I'm getting a couple of dollars, like, let's do some music. And
You was rapping too?
I tried for a short period of time.
You got a mixtape out here on the
Nah. I tried for a short period of time, but that wasn't for me. But that's how much music had consumed for me that I had got to the point like, nah, this shit gotta work. Because I invested too much. And it was its high peaks and it was its lows, but I feel like that's what conditioned me to look at business how I look at it now.
Yeah. One of those lows, can we talk about one of them? Like, what's something that people may or may not know about the music shit and what it could be like for people trying to come up?
I think being a person, like, especially if you don't got no business mind into those things, I went into music and, like I said, I had a few dollars at the time or whatever, and I tried to streamline, like, so I went, I seen we was paying for studios, I said, you know what, we're gonna buy a studio. I went, started going around in my neighborhoods in New York, different neighborhoods, and was fortunate to want to sign a few artists from different neighborhoods, and our music started taking off fast. It started taking over, but we didn't understand the business, so we all young, we all kids, we all looking for a little bit of fame and money, whether we conscious about it or not at the time. Right. So
y'all was just looking at the collaboration and opportunity and things like that.
And everybody young, everybody wanna, you got different artists who are friends and different things like that, so where you got people that come around on the music time, like the people they call execs or the managers and stuff like that, and when they smell blood in the water, they sharks. So they come around and go, yeah, I can take you to do this meeting, do this, pay this person, do this, do that. And the whole time you'll be funding money and spending money, and when you're doing it on your personal money, it becomes kind of like, you start to get attached to it emotionally.
I heard that. I ain't gonna lie, I heard that about a lot of music artists. Like, this shit is not cheap. Like, I feel like a lot of things ain't cheap when you get into it, but definitely the music, because you always gotta keep up with the lifestyle, the persona, the looks, the music.
But now it's a little different. I think, I don't know the music industry now. I haven't been into music for some years now, so I don't know the music industry as far as, like, the streams and certain things like that. This was before streams was, like, really the big thing. This is the YouTube era. This is, for us in New York, when Bobby Smurda came out and certain things like this. So this is when those certain things first started cracking. And it was like, from even Akron always had some dope artists, but Akron also had engineers here. And I've also signed some Akron artists, so I was able to take Akron artists and integrate them with New York artists. And so where they built their own relationships, and still to this day they do music and got relationships throughout the city, from New York down to here, where even without me even in the room. So I feel like the music, it's just, everybody don't strike it. Everybody ain't going, you know? There's a lot of people that do music. So you have your high tempos, and if you don't get it when you got that light, it can be bad.
Is there anything that you would change about the music industry right now? Like, if it's a few things that you can change, or something that you would make more fair, or something that you want to bring into the music industry?
I can't say change it because I don't really know to the details of what's going on. Because I see artists making more money than they ever made before. So, but I don't see a bunch of artists having longevity anymore. Like when I grew up, artists had years and years run. So now maybe 2 years tops, and you don't hear about the artists no more. Shift gears, go to somewhere else.
On to the next thing, yeah.
So I just, on my aspect as a fan aspect outside the business, I would just want to see like artists have long career.
Mm-hmm. But good music does live on. I don't know how much music affects your daily life. A lot of times I sit in silence, but I do realize how quick music does affect my mood. So now I'm a little bit more selective of even what I listen to. Like I can't, me personally, the life I'm trying to live right now, I can't listen to a lot of rock music. Like anything like what's the drill music, like NBA YoungBoy, and this is no shade because I do got like 2-3 songs I like of NBA. It's just me personally I can't, or it makes me think about certain things that I want to think about. Then you got your times where you want to slow down, you want to listen to a little Erykah Badu, you want to listen to a little bit of Alicia Keys, you want to listen to a little bit of some jazz and R&B. I'm just now to a point where I can listen to instrumentals, or jazz, I should say. Or do you feel like the same way with how music affects your daily life, or do you have certain people that you listen to?
I think music is necessary.
Yeah.
Whatever type of music is, I think music can just connect people and connect with the soul. Like, no matter what type of music, everybody got their own preference, but this the beats or the drums, certain things like that is key for me. I think it's rhythm. I think music is key for the soul, especially when you talk about mental health. I think music done got people through a lot of times.
So all the different like hustles and business aspects that you have been able to do and that you've seen, do you feel like it's important to keep like your belief or your spiritual belief involved, or how do you practice that as well?
I think over the past like 10 years, I think that's all I do. I think it's very important to keep it in tune to everything I do in every aspect of my life. From my business to my marriage to I live by it, like, and not that I'm some perfect person, no, but I live by it. I think it's very important. It keeps me balanced.
What is your belief, if you don't mind me asking? And I don't mean no disrespect to anybody who's watching. I'm genuinely interested.
I believe in Ifa, pretty much the 7 African powers. Pretty much, it was something that I grew up around. I grew up in New York, so I grew up around Spanish, a lot of Spanish. I had a Cuban friend and his family, they practiced it. So growing up, they were like somewhat scary. Like, you know, we thought like, oh, when I grew up, we thought we used to call it was voodoo. So voodoo was like, they do voodoo, oh, they bad people. So we didn't know certain things. Like, so through time of being around his family and getting engaged and educating myself, I was brought into the religion, and it's more of a way of life.
So it's not like your friend introduced you to the religion.
It's more of a way of life. And they happen to be Spanish, so it was like a language barrier for me at times. But we all grew up in New York City together, so that was like the most comfort zone. And I learned certain things and secrets, and certain things you'll learn. If you want to go into it and look into it, you can go do your own research and, you know, just get an overlook on it. But through learning and going through it, I learned that it came from like our people, and that was what had me more intrigued than anything. And
so it sounds like an emotional and a spiritual, like emotional and physical.
And I always been a person who somewhat like not did the best with death, but I always believed in ancestors and energy. So I think with going into that religion, it deals with a lot of that, and that had an effect on me as well. Like, because it deals with a lot of energy, a lot of respect for your ancestors and things like that. And I felt like, though I always had that belief system since growing up, that was key. Mm-hmm. So that was something that made me target and made me yearn to learn more about the religion. So it's really just a way of life.
Yeah. Speaking of learning, did you have like a Babalo or like a...
My Cuban friend I told you about, he ended up being my Babala. I seen him go through the process. So when we was younger, I would end up at his house some weekends, and we'd be there. His family, his mother would be cooking, music playing. If everyone's around, his uncle may have all white on, and it reminded me, if you think of Africa, or you think of Egypt, the way they dress, but they're being all white. They have beads similar like the beads that I have on my neck right now, and it'll be a vibe, right? Everybody be chilling, and then you'll start hearing animals like chirping and stuff like that. Like what? And it'll be times where I end up spinning in a circle and I'm being wiped down with a bird. And those things intrigue me, which led me later on down the line when I got financially stable and old enough to make those decisions. That's what made me engage with the religion.
Okay.
For sure.
So it's something that you kind of choose, or it chooses you to. How does that process work?
Everybody,
I know you said some things is secret and some things is about my own research. And sorry if I am pronouncing anything incorrectly, but I believe the word is like Ori or Orisha or something like that.
Yeah, you talking about Orisha. So pretty much some people call them saints, certain things like that. I like to look at them like to make our people connect, because it was, like I said, it was a language barrier for me. Not only with me learning from Spanish people, my Cuban friend, also because it's a West African religion. I'm African American. I was born in America, so I don't know that dialect. So it was a language barrier. So the teachings I got, how I was able to understand it in my young mind was when you get your warriors. For example, I got my warriors. Your warriors consist of your Eshun, your Ogun, your Ochosi, and your Ochun, and your Orula, right? Those are 5 saints.
Right.
Each of them represent different things, right? So you learn that, Ogun, when you think of how they explain Ogun to me, that's Wolverine. So now we all don't watch Marvels. We grew up, we seen Wolverine with his metal claws, and you go do the research and you start learning, like, oh no, that's really an African warrior that these people done took and created as a Marvel
Something
hero.
whole else. Like you just thinking this just came out the comic book. I thought it came out the comic book. I just got hit the Wolverine not too long ago.
You start learning those type of things, and I think just being a young mind, those are things that intrigue you, and those are Orishas. So you start learning about your warriors, you start learning about your Orula, like your past, present, and future. That's going to tell you your stories and certain things like that. And it just guides you. I looked at it as a roadmap, and I've been in a religion the past, I want to say 15 years, and that's just my guidance in life, like just in every dynamic of my life, the way I deal with relationships and business, and just the way I deal with life.
Yeah, I think it's the way of life, honestly. Whatever you choose to believe in out there is like, believe in something. I think with me, you had that conversation where it was like, you just gotta believe in something. If you can't believe in nothing else, believe in something to get you in the right place, or to live a righteous life, or however you want to break that down. Have something to believe in. Have somebody to pray to. So
let me ask you a question then. So in that aspect, do you think human beings are we're the highest people that ever walked this earth? What we know as earth, like what we live on?
So us, me and you, blood and flesh.
Yeah. You think we the supreme being, like there's nothing higher than us?
No. I believe in a God. And I don't want to disrespect my religion or nothing, but because this is not to offend nobody, this is really the education part, but you are asking me a personal question. And how I look at it is like, I believe in a God, like, and I know he's more spiritual. I don't see him, unfortunately, as like this white man with long hair. I'm not sure if he even has a face, to be honest with you. But I do believe in more of a spiritual, like, energy versus physical human. Like, I believe he created, so we are, and we should look at each other as like goddesses and stuff like that. But there's a God that I put above me and I put before anybody, and that's really like how I look at it, but not in person. I haven't looked at it that way.
And I agree. That's why I think it's just a higher power. I think whichever we believe in as individuals, I think we something that we could all agree that is something higher than ourselves here.
Yeah, because I try to like look at it. So you know when they say like you can manifest or make things come to life of what you say. I noticed like some more lately, at least the last 2 weeks. I have a group chat with a couple of girls, and I call it like daily prayer, but we send each other like devotions, prayers, and stuff like that. And I was telling them like lately I've been saying it like out loud, like, God, we've been like, wait, silent with each other lately. I need you to speak to me. And then I was not on my daily today devotions. So I had to go back and read some of the days I had missed. And everything that I was reading was kind of like what I already been into here. But I'm like, what if I had read that back on that day? That's probably not the message I needed. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, when I asked him to give it to me, I've been like, we've been really like kind of going back and forth. It's like, are you open my phone, a TikTok come on. It's been a lot of like more spiritual TikToks than it has been anything else like for me. So I just feel like that's like a sign. Mm-hmm. But it seemed like I've been our communication has been getting a lot stronger because I've been verbally putting it out there, and I had to learn too that we can't just, you can, and it's good to practice, but I like to pray like anytime I could think of, it's time to pray. Like when I get in the shower, I be thankful for the water running on my body. When I'm getting dressed, I'm like, Lord, thank you, I got clothes to put on my back. Like I am a small time prayer, but I had learned recently too that when we do pray, you should pray with intention, and you should pray when you are able to accept the word and not just doing it as a chore, because then you're not really getting what you put out.
I think that's key, but I think also praying. I think when we get out of the politics, as far as, because a lot of things, it's just my personal opinion. I think a lot of things we've been taught and been like, all right, this is the way you gotta do things, and it's a blueprint. If you ain't doing it this way, I think when you talk about spiritually outside of religion, just spiritually, when you got something in your heart, your brain, and you think about it, you may not go get on your knees 7 days a week, but you may not go sit up in your bed, or however a person pray, but you may be sitting down thinking, you may be using the bathroom, maybe taking a shit. Mm-hmm. However you doing, you thinking, and that could be your form of prayer. That could be your, so I think with praying, I think that's something that we do even when we ain't conscious about it.
Yeah, because I believe the spirit is everywhere, so you shouldn't really have a form of when it's time to pray. But don't always just pray when things get bad. Find a time in between, how to do your prayer. Like you said, I'm not perfect, and I have not even read the Bible front to back. I just know there's a God I believe in, so I'm still kind of like curious. Not saying that I am joining, or I don't like that word. I really don't like the word like religion, because it almost feels like it's put in a box. But sometimes when I talk to people who have different religious beliefs, it almost sounds similar to the way I could believe something. Like I used to date and deal with this guy who was Muslim, right? And the outside people, which I'm gonna just call them Christians, they would tell you like, we believe in Lord Jesus Christ. You might go over to a Muslim, they will say Allah or something like that, but we would have like conversations, and we never disrespect each other's belief or nothing like that. I don't even question nobody's stuff to be like, well, how do you know it's real? Because I don't want you to ask me that. No, don't ask me, because I'm just gonna say my God is real, and his God is real, and we'll have we'll have like conversations where we'd be like, dang, I can't really think of an example, but I just remember a day verbatim where he was telling me about the way he moves and the acts of kindness and stuff like that, and he just kept saying like, from blessings from Allah, like he would just say stuff like that. And I was like, that kind of just sounds like my God, but maybe it's just taught different in our belief. There's differences, but I have not yet been able to explore.
I've been just educating on different, like I haven't read the whole Bible, I haven't read the whole Quran, but just being around different people and experiencing, and I'm a person who I've been in jail, I did jail time, so just being around different people believing different stuff, and just giving everyone's belief system an A. I don't block it. It allows you to make a better perception or whatever, whether you decide to go this way, that way, or you decide to say, you know what, I'm just spiritual. I respect everyone's, because that's the thing as well. You don't necessarily have to be into a religion to be spiritual, I don't believe.
Yeah, because like I'll go to church, but I never say I'm a Christian. And I know that's not right. Like I know I'm probably going to offend somebody, or somebody's going to have something to say. But like I said last time, people have something to just say regardless. It's like I'll go to church, but I don't be like, I'm Christian. But I will say I know I accepted the Lord as my Savior. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like I'm doing like my own thing, but I am a believer in God.
We human, man.
Yeah, we
You're all human. You're human. That's all I'm saying.
Do your kids, are they following any religion?
Like, and that's something that's going on now. Like, last week, my youngest daughter comes like, I want to go to church. I'm like, all right, we're going to go to church. I'm not into thinking in the box just in life. That's something that I learned, and I don't want my kids to think in the box. So even I have my ways, because I've been my ways for so long in certain things, but my daughters, I definitely feel like I want them to think outside the box. So with church and Jesus Christ coming up and certain things like that, I just kind of, I build with them. I ask them what they feel, and I feel like the time, and I just, hope the universe give me the time to keep building those relationships with them, so when those questions come or when they decide to make their choices, I'm able to do that with them.
Yeah. We're 3 months in now, or going on to 3 months into 2026. Do you have any specific plans or goals that would help expand Rare?
Yeah, I think continuing to market our brand and being creative with ideas. I think bringing more lines of female clothes and kids clothes, and I think getting involved in more collaborative work with other brands just in the city, throughout Ohio.
Like clothing brands or?
Clothing brands, food brands, just wherever we can figure out anything that's in the realm of what we're doing. Artists, musicians, putting something together with that, just bringing it all together, making it all come full circle.
That sounds big. That sounds actually, I like when it comes to a welcoming vibe, because then, it'd be like cities like we talk about, like Detroit, New York, Atlanta. Like these cities support each other in a way to where we think it's impossible to do here, but it's not. It's just about putting your pride to the side. Don't always look at everything with a dollar sign in front of it, and just coming together, and actually being vocal about what you want and what you're looking for and what you need help with.
I think it's slowly changing just throughout, I think, in all cultures, because I think whether you talk about Detroit, New York, Atlanta, Akron, Cleveland, Pennsylvania, Chicago, you talk about any of these places, when you go into our environments that we grow up in, it's the same type of. So I think people are starting to wake up and realizing all right, we can do more together than as individuals.
Yeah, changing the perspective up. Do you plan on doing like pop-ups, events, or how do you plan on opening up for like people to do this kind of stuff?
I'm open to coming to support someone else's pop-up shop, putting up and bringing a Red brand there, and I'm also open to holding pop-up shops where we're inviting different brands to come in and just to build a platform to where the brands could grow, where we can get the light that Akron needs.
How do you differentiate who you want to collaborate with?
I leave that part more to, I feel like, the customers, because at the end of the day, we in the business of customer service. So if customers want to see something, or customers are liking two brands, and we're not in a super big place where it's millions of people at the end of the day. So the objective is, if you have your fan base here, or you have your support here, and you have your support here, the objective is to spread out, to go different places, to go get a store somewhere in Beechwood or one of these malls in one of these cities. Those are my agendas. So I'm like, the more we blow up a business or blow up just ideas or just bring a light here, I feel like it's a trickle-down effect. It happens everywhere else.
Like it should. So I'm really glad to hear about all these things that's coming up for, especially this year and the near future. Is there anything else you want to let us know that we should know, whether it's about Rare, whether it's about commas, whether it's about something in the works we may not know of?
I think more so just that we looking to keep building, looking to keep growing. The weather warming up, so we're going to have some dope female clothes, some nice kids clothes too. We're looking to get into whatever fashion shows is going on just to show our brands, show our clothes and our creativity. So just looking to just network in the city and just build a positive vibe.
Yeah. I'm glad that you stopped through, and I'm glad that you sat down and talked with me. Like, we ain't always talk for hours, but this one was for the books and for the people that's watching. So make sure y'all like, subscribe, and share, and see y'all in the next one.
Yeah, peace.